Hello Cancer, and welcome to your reading for December 2018. I hope it's useful for you. So I've chosen, cards got chosen for me, 5 cards for you. The first one is your past energy, where you've come from. That is the 6 of Swords. The next card is around your current issues and situation, which you can see is the 2 of Cups. The third card represents possible obstacles you may be facing right now. The third card is about possible helpful tools available to you right now. And the last card is the outcome for lovely Cancerians for the month of December. And the final card I've pulled from a separate deck called the Dreamtime Reading Cards. And this card is the overall theme for you guys for the month of December is Sugar Glider, which is about courage, and I'll be talking about that more at the end of the reading. So just going to get started and get right into it. So past energy, you've got the 6 of Swords. So ironically, or maybe not, the 6 of Swords is actually about leaving something behind. So it can represent a regretful but necessary transition, but that you're heading in calmer waters, heading in the right direction. You may be possibly taking a break or a holiday or going on a journey right now. It sort of means that things aren't perfect, but you're getting there. In the traditional image of the on the card of the 6 of Swords, my God, getting my words wrong. It's of a person. I tend to think of it as a woman, I'm not sure why, on a boat. You can't see, you can only see the back of her or him fully covered, wrapped up in say a blanket or a cloth, and next to that person is what looks like a child. So the way I interpret that, particularly in your reading, is that you are leaving something behind, but you're taking your most precious thing with you. Obviously, if anyone had to leave their home or leave a situation and they had children, that would be the most precious thing that they would take with them. So not sure what that's about for you guys. It could also, this card, just as a final note, could mean recovery from illness or bereavement, and certainly in the traditional card that the person on the boat does look quite sad, moving away from something. The second card for you guys is around the current situation, current issues you may be facing, and you've got the 2 of Cups, which is an absolutely beautiful card about partnerships, soul connections, attractions, relationships, partnerships, which I've already said, a couple, about teamwork, benefiting the outcome, openness and exchange, willingness to compromise, all about sort of coming together with someone you really click and work well with. So the way I see the first 2 cards here is that you have come from a difficult place, a difficult situation, or a difficult period in your life that is now thankfully coming to an end. You may be now in partnership or relationship with someone that is that feels very connected and is really beneficial for you, that there's a lot of good communication between the 2 of you, and perhaps this union is helping you move past the dark times that you went through, or perhaps the 2 of you went through, if you went through a difficult time and you're moving beyond that now. So whether that's an actual partner, a really good friend, a colleague, family member, just someone that you really resonate with, that I think is around and helping you now particularly move out of this dark space that you may have been in. The third card is around possible obstacles you may be facing now, and for that one you guys pulled the 4 of Wands, which I see is usually a positive card and sits really usually quite in a lovely position next to the 2 of Cups, but being the third card in this spread about possible obstacles, I'm not really seeing it as the traditional meaning of sort of harmony, beauty, celebration, marriage, home and community, all these really positive things. The card usually does represent stability, usually in house and home, moving home, making a home, setting up home, but there may be problems in this area that's sort of getting in the way perhaps of the teamwork that you are hopefully experiencing in relation to the Two of Cups. Also, it could mean in this position that too much stability can lead to stagnancy. So maybe staying in the same place for too long, whether that's an actual physical place or a place in your head or in a situation, just the stagnancy that has crept in, and there's sort of a stuckness and there's some sort of fixed pattern and it's sort of a bit too much of a desire to hold on to the status quo, when really, you know, in life we do need to loosen up and be flexible around many things in our lives. So wanting things to be perhaps a little bit too neat and tidy and therefore a bit artificial. I have no idea if that's going to resonate at all. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but that's okay. Take what you like and leave the rest. The fourth card, possible helpful tools for you guys. And you got the Three of Swords, which I just found really, I nearly blew out the candle, really interesting. Juxtaposed right next to the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands in this reading being a possible obstacle, and the Four of Wands usually being a positive card, and then you've got in the Three of Swords in the possible helpful tools position. So it's like they're kind of mixed up somehow, but I'm not sure, because the Three of Swords. Good Lord, I'm not doing really well today, am I? The Three of Swords usually is a card of heartbreak, sorrow, grief, breakup, rejection, but in this position, being something that could be helpful, it could maybe mean that you are resolving a moral dilemma, or particularly around releasing old pain, working through the heartbreak. And the question to perhaps ask yourself is, why is this being brought to your attention now? Is there anything that is unresolved from past heartbreak? Now is the time to do that. So perhaps a way to think about it is normally pulling swords out of yourself or out of your heart. If you are actually heartbroken, obviously that would be very painful, but in the long term, a lot of benefit comes from pulling out those swords, facing that pain and moving through it. You know, I do think that would be obviously a very helpful thing to do. It just takes a lot of guts to do that, and willingness to face that pain. Otherwise, we hold on to that pain, and that is never a good thing. Where does that go inside of us? So, the fifth card you have, the outcome for December, for lovely Cancerians, is the Seven of Coins. Seven of Coins represents, or the Seven of Pentacles in a traditional deck. So this card represents growth, progress, profit, sort of sitting back and looking at the hard work that you've gone through. And to me this makes sense if you have been or are willing to face some grief and some heartbreak, working through that heartbreak, working on yourself in that way. A reward will result from that. So this card is sort of about persevering, having patience. You know, I think coming from a difficult time in one's life, it often does take a lot of patience. In that time heals many things, whether you want it to or not. And finally, this card can also be about potential for improved status in your work or money. I'm not sure if that's relevant in this case with the spread that's before me, but it may well be. So the final card, the overall theme, the card that got pulled for you guys from the Dreamtime Reading Cards deck was Sugar Glider, which is about courage, which I thought was really interesting given what I've just been talking about with the Three of Swords card, and the courage actually it takes to face pain, to move beyond a difficult situation, to really be willing to put in the work, the hard work, and in the long term you will reap rewards, which is very much about what the Seven of Coins card is about. So this deck is about connecting with the ancient spirit and nature of Australia. So it's beautiful deck of, I guess, kind of oracle cards based around Aboriginal Australia, Australian Dreamtime images and stories and mythology. I'll leave details of the cards below. I just love these cards, they're really beautiful. I'm just going to show you the card a little bit closer. All the beautiful little dots, very typical of Aboriginal Australian paintings. The dot paintings, there's a sugar glider, which is a possum, type of possum. I'm just going to put it there, and I'm going to read from the book about what this card means. So the sugar glider is a possum, like I just said, a member of the marsupial family. This mammal gives birth to tiny live young who are raised in a pouch of skin on the mother's abdomen. The tiny possum glides from tree to tree by spreading its arms and legs and using the thin membrane of skin between them to glide to where it wants to go. It lets the air currents support it as it leaps and glides through the branches. The sugar glider's message is to have courage. It has learned to take giant leaps of faith and to focus its energy on where it wants to be. It is here to remind you that you are supported even if you don't realise it. Now is the time to jump into the unknown, to take risks and to do things you have feared for so long. It is time for action, and you can no longer stay where you feel safe and protected. You do not need to have all the answers. You just need to believe in yourself, and I would say the universe, and take the first step towards your goal. Do not let your fear of the unknown hold you back. Have faith in yourself and the direction you see, and take that risk, and then watch your life soar. So that's, I think, just so beautiful, incredibly beautiful, and I think really fitting for your reading. The more I think about it and process this reading, the more I am wondering if this is about grief and loss in some way, whether that's an actual death, physical death of someone you've known, or the death of a relationship, the death of a job, a pet. I'm not sure, but you've come from a pretty difficult time. You have some support around you now in terms of a friend, a lover, a family member, I'm not sure, colleague, supporting you through that. You have perhaps become a bit stuck in that. Things are a little bit too fixed. You need to be brave and have courage and face that pain, pull those swords out of your heart, and as a result, long term that will be beneficial. And the cards are falling. So I'm going to leave it at that, Cancer. Take what you like from this reading. It's really telling me to wrap it up. And I hope it's useful. If not, there's so many other incredible readers on YouTube that might resonate with you more than this one. Have a wonderful December and end of the year, and I'll see you all next year. Thank you.